Apologies for keeping you all waiting. Arsenal have won 4-3 at Luton. And wow, did they make hard work of that. There is a lot to break down. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to digest. I just said on my fan cam, which is coming out very soon, all the fan cams are coming out on AFTV, go check them out. I said, let's put this, I don't need this, put it down. I've said that context matters so much. And there's no more evidence of it than when you look at the way fans are responding to the last 2 days. Today, we go behind and we fight back and we get a 96th, 97th minute winner and it's euphoria. But there's got to be reflection on the performance and the errors and what we do to improve. Against Wolves, we conceded a late goal. We didn't score after the 15th minute. You could say it was a bit flat after that point, despite creating chances. But what is the fans' main takeaway? We played great football. We cut through Wolves. We could have had 4, 5, 6 in that game, and we reflect on that performance and respect it. We know that you play that game 10 times, you probably win it 8, 9, 10. You probably get the 4th, the 5th. That might be true of this Luton game. Play it 10 times, Raya doesn't maybe make those mistakes all the time. Or does he? Because we were done on 2 set pieces. He was really poor on 2 goals. I thought we looked really lazy in some of our defending, from not tracking runners to Ben White not getting close to Ross Barkley to quite a few things really. It just felt like we didn't really have control of the game at any point. But I want to say a big well done to the players that stepped up and completely understood the occasion today. Not the occasion. This wasn't some Champions League final. This wasn't, a win that put us within, a few games of the title. It wasn't like that. But when I say occasion, I mean a Luton crowd and team that were very spirited, were always going to be up for it. In a game where we were clearly unsettled and out of our rhythm, trying something tactically new with Ødegaard deeper, Havertz basically up front with Jesus, and trying to do something different to find a way. And it wasn't always working, but some players dug deep to try and make it happen. Gabby Jesus, Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, all brilliant today. Havertz dug deep, there's no question. Ødegaard at times irritating, but showed some quality at times as well, and certainly did for the assist there. So I've got a range of emotions. Of course, at the top of the list is we've won, a late goal. I'm elated. Life is great. We're top of the league. Oh, I can hear myself. Let's say so. Life is great. I can just enjoy being top of the league till we play Villa on the weekend. And for sure, you take the positives in all that. But I just feel also a little confused about the game. And so you guys are going to help me process this a little bit. Tomiyasu injury is serious. I think you've all just seen the news. You're all putting it in the chat. Tomiyasu is going to be out for a little while. That is going to make the need for a defender even greater in January. We hope Timber's back soon as well. He can't stay fit, and it's really frustrating. And it's not his fault, but it's frustrating. Okay, what do you guys want to talk about first? I think we'll just talk about the game in general. Let me show you what I tweeted, because I think when you have to package your sort of thoughts in, however many characters it is. Here's what I said. I said, fair play to Luton. Proper performance from them tonight. I said, big thank you to Rice, Jesus, Saka for being exceptional. Havertz and Rice didn't shy away from the task. Raya needs to be dropped. They need to make this a fair fight. And Ben White was poor on the third as well, in my opinion. Those were my general kind of main takeaways. Did Arsenal play badly today? No, they didn't. They didn't play badly today. They were just sort of... There was a lack of connectivity. There was a lack of fluidity. There was a lack of Arsenal basically struggled to really kind of get control of the game and play the kind of football. And actually, for 90 minutes, even when we've lacked creating chances, that we've limited the opposition of really getting into the team, getting into the game and settling. We didn't have that. We didn't look like we had really kind of kicked Luton's spirits at any point. They were really, really up for it and making really hard work. They were aggressive. They were pressing up against us. But we go 1-0 up and we go 2-1 up. In fact, when did let me have a little look. When did we get the second goal? I want to say it was just before half time. So as the game was coming to an end, 45th minute, Jesus. So at the end of both halves, we pulled out the big goal. I love comments like this. James, what the hell are you waffling about? Patrick, you can download the AFTV Plus app, you can join us, and you can chat about anything you disagree with. Just Download the app, free to do. And if you want to have your thoughts, come and give them. Or if you want to expand on your thoughts in the comments, let me know. If there's anything in particular you don't like that I'm talking about, let me know as I'm smashing the headphones. In my opinion, Arsenal, the big errors from Raya make the performance look worse than it was, because actually we did look like every time we got forward we might create chances, although we were sort of lacking something in the final third at times. It's not like Luton peppered our goal, but of course you wouldn't expect them to either. That's not the mark of whether we had a bad performance or not. I just felt like the errors and this general complacency that was running through the team. Did anyone else, let me know in the comment section, did anyone else feel like there was a complacency about Arsenal today? There was just this, like, the team as a whole, and you might ask about certain players. I think Ben White was one of them. I think Kivior looked a bit erratic at times. Raya was poor. I don't think Trossard had a good appearance off the bench, if I'm honest. But there was just this kind of feeling I felt from the team, like, yeah, we'll kind of get it done. Like, we'll get the goals. We'll be fine. Yeah, they're attacking, but we'll be okay. There's just a complacency that ran through the team that frustrated me at times today, though they were still kind of finding openings, showing some good combinations. I thought Saka was brilliant. And it was really certain players that dragged us through it in the end to ultimately get the 3 points. That's forgivable, I think, for one game. If this becomes a kind of a theme over the Christmas period, that becomes slightly worrying. We've got Villa away, Brighton at home and Liverpool away. These are the kind of games where that can become, we can have similar games, conceding 2 and 3, scoring 4s, and we need to make sure that ultimately we get a bit more control like we've had in previous games. Here we go. Samuel says, why is he moaning? Well, we welcome Turkish.
What, someone say moaning?
I'm moaning. Why am I moaning?
Don't worry now, I'm here. People will divert their attention to me.
Why do people need to open their minds?
I knew this one was going to be one of those ones, because you know what it is? There's not many positives to take away from tonight, aside from being resilient enough to get to the end to win, and that is the most important thing, to win. But when you're here to discuss a game that hasn't had many positives, aside from the last minute goal and the hard fought win in the end, of course you're going to mention some of the problems and concerns you have, but a lot of time people don't want to hear any of that. God forbid they hear any of that. Their ears might start melting or something. I don't know what the problem is, but
apparently they can't hear Turkish. Here we go. Amoba says they are human, James. They are tired. It's fatigue you're seeing. It's what made the end of last season frustrating. When we get some aggression from the opposition, the team tends to not want to fight. Amoba, okay, let me just say one thing, because I call for good debate on this, on these shows or whatever, and Amoba is being super polite, providing an opinion, and I respect that. There's a good debate to be had here. I just personally disagree with a lot of what you're saying. They're tired. They just had an international break. Like, it's fatigue you're seeing. Our last 3 games are all in London. This one's basically in London. Luton, Lens, Wolves and Brentford are all in London. They're not going very far. We've rotated the 11 a little bit. Ben White, is he tired? He's not started the last 3 games. Please don't give me the tired thing. Otherwise, we've got a long season. Another point that was made, when we get some aggression from the opposition, the team tends to not want to fight. It's the opposite. I actually think the team did fight. They didn't play very well, but they fought. I've got no problem with the team's fight today. I just felt there was a complacency that allowed Luton to ultimately take the lead. No one can tell me Ben White gave everything to defend that 3rd goal. Very shortly after we conceded the equaliser. Yeah. Slow, lazy, Ryan not switched on, appalling. That's not good enough. And, okay, it's one game. But we're talking about one game. Do I love Ben White? Yes, I do. Have I made my mind up that David Raya is not as good as Aaron Ramsdale? No, I haven't. For me, it's still a fair fight. But he's making errors. I'd like it to be a fair fight. I'd like Aaron Ramsdale to get the opportunity to prove himself. Now, I've also praised the players that dug deep. I also said before we walked in, I don't think Arsenal played badly today. Without the errors, I don't think the result really is... I don't think it's a 4-3 without the errors. It's probably a 3-1.
Oh, 100%. The only reason it was a tight game was because of Raya.
Exactly. The
only reason.
But also, did we ever get control of it in the way we have when we praise the team for controlling games of the past? No, we didn't. Now, the players had to... I think certain players dug deep and stood up today. Jesus, winning headers. beating his centre-backs every single time. That pass into Havertz is genius. And Havertz reading the run and knowing Jesus can pull it off is brilliant. Bukayo Saka, we've praised in the past for getting goal and assist, but not really kind of doing his thing as a winger. He's doing his thing as a winger right now. He was brilliant. And yeah, the team showed heart and they showed fight, and good on them. But I'm emotional right now because the game was very emotional. It was very all over the place. And I'm elated, but slightly disappointed, but mostly elated. But I don't know, I'm feeling a lot of things. What are you feeling in Turkish? Help me understand it.
No, I'm gassed for the 3 points first and foremost, because in my opinion, I would have liked it to be a more convincing game, because I think it's still very early in the season, but a more convincing win statement away from home against a side that, listen, it's a difficult away ground to go to, as results have shown so far this season. And with Liverpool going there and failing to win, for example, and I'm sure they're going to put up a fight against many teams there. So I would have liked a statement win in terms of a comfy one, go 5 ahead of Liverpool, 6 ahead of City, and give them something to think about. And we got 5 ahead of Liverpool and 6 ahead of City, but I think there's a lot more for us to think about than there is for them to think about off the back of it. And by that I mean, listen, 3 points that's what it is. And if you tell me we'll get 19 more of these this season and we'll win the league, I'll take it. But people can't tell me that.
Yeah, of course.
So the concerns are there, because as much as I'll say Raya is the reason this was a competitive game, or in the end it was a hard fought victory with a last minute goal, that problem can't be solved immediately.
Yeah.
There is a problem there, because Raya's made multiple mistakes this season. Ramsdale now comes in and makes mistakes. We've seen mistakes from him before. They're both a bag of nerves, and we're going into a hectic December schedule with that question opening up again. Remember I said I don't want to talk about this goalkeeper situation no more. I don't. But the fact of the matter is, off the back of those 2 mistakes, we must.
I know.
Because it's there. And I'm sorry, but if Raya didn't get an opportunity all season and Ramsdale was the one playing all the games and Ramsdale made these 2 mistakes today, then Raya would have been in for the next game. So I think that I don't want to restart the conversation, but
they've restarted it. I'm with you. I was on starting 11 and Laurie brought it up with about 5 minutes before the 11 was announced, and I said, I'm not doing it. We nearly went through a whole show without talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm bored. I don't want to talk about it. But how can you not when you see these pathetic errors being made? Yeah. They were bad. They were his 2 worst.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah. 100%.
Playing out the back and getting it wrong, we know the manager asks that.
100%.
Getting loot from a slightly fluky Mudryk, whatever, that can happen. Slightly bad positioning on the Newcastle goal, poor. But these are the worst. Trying to go punch the ball, you get there and you don't deal with it. Yeah. It's shocking. Letting one roll under your body is shocking.
100%.
They've opened that back up.
Yeah, and this ain't me forgetting Ramsdale's made mistakes for us. That's why I wanted to mention that Ramsdale has made mistakes. But now we've got 2 keepers that don't look themselves anymore, and that is a problem.
But you haven't, and you'll never. Well, say you'll never. You haven't heard me utter the words once today or at all this season, Ramsdale is a better goalkeeper than Raya, so play him. I haven't said that once because I don't know that.
Same.
I haven't said that once because I do not know that. I'm very open to it being Raya being the better goalkeeper and the long-term number 1. I'm calling for a fair fight. I'm calling for them both to get the opportunity. And people who say, yeah, but it unsettles the team, the back four. Raya was chucked in without any time with him. Was that not unsettling the back four? Make this a fair fight. Super chats. Ricky says, reason I think Ryan needs to be dropped is he has done enough now to sow seeds of doubt in Gabriel, Saliba and Rice and affect theirs and team's confidence. And that's a fair point. What's the noise about Ramsdale? People forget Villa, Southampton, etc. last season. Villa last season, he's the reason we won that game. He tipped it onto the crossbar.
Yeah.
Last season away from home, we were meant to lose that. So I think that's really harsh. Bench Raya, it's an easy decision. Arteta say he doesn't have a number 1. Let's see if he's not lying to us. Best game from an attacking perspective from Kai Havertz as Real Madrid Arsenal. Yeah. And we'll go into those positives now because that bad moment happened before and then Kai Havertz came to life with the equaliser. Yeah. I actually think he had a good first half, sensible, kept things moving. Second half, really nice touches in midfield, got us on the ball, got us playing, driving past players. He had a nice little moment in the first half, in the first minute, where he kind of drove into space. He's adding that element to his game. If you're a 6'4" midfielder who's meant to have pace, I want to see that. That is 100% what I want to see. But there are a lot of there were a lot of positives from Kai Havertz. I'm glad he got his equaliser. I'm glad he's having big moments, especially away from home for Arsenal. That is great. Laurie's going to join us now, and you guys are going to have some callers ready. If they're calling to moan about me, I'm just over there, so give me a shout. Everyone, don't get it twisted. I'm very, very happy. But just like the Wolves 2-1 win, which was a nervy end and, you know, frustrating in many ways, I said that there were so many positives to take in what was a great performance. I think we've got to look at what went wrong and what made tonight uncomfortable. I think we have, but ultimately we're top of the league, and there's definitely something to be said for an Arsenal team that keep finding late winners. Laurie, welcome to the show. Turkish Enjoy, everyone. Big up the Arsenal. See you in a bit.
We have got callers ready, I believe. So when Laurie sits down, we're ready to go. Production, line up the first caller.
I'm going to do my best to try and be an impact sub, which is not an easy job to do when you're taking over from someone like James. So.
What are you looking at there?
The headphones. Which one? Which way? Well, I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. Kian, we got Kian in the building. Yes, what are you saying, my bro?
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Bit nerve-wracking ending, but
Not the first time.
Rice pays back more, about 100 million.
Yep. He doesn't stop paying it back at the moment. every game.
We'll be making some serious profit, you know.
Underpriced.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, underpriced. Yeah.
The rice in there. Yeah.
So, Kian, tell me, man, what's your main talking point from the game? I suppose it's the last-minute winner, or
people need to understand. I think it was a good performance in most aspects today. I think what let us down today, it was errors, really, realistically. Like, you look throughout the game, we created a lot. We were unlucky. Like, their goalkeeper made some very good saves from the likes of Saka, Martinelli, Jesus, and Raya. Really, there is a question mark over what needs to be done here. Like, if Ramsdale was in the same situation and he made those errors, the next game he wouldn't be starting. So Arteta realistically should really drop Raya next game and give Ramsdale a chance to prove himself. But he's probably more than likely not going to do that. Who would have thought, I think, a month ago that we'd be talking here as well and saying Kai Havertz has scored 3 goals for Arsenal?
It's true.
No, yeah, you're right. It's interesting because when we did the watch-along, I'm not sure if you saw the watch-along, but myself and Turkish were in agreement for once, because we had a couple of people on the panel and they were waxing lyrical over Havertz in the first half. We was like, slow down a bit. He's played all right, but we want to see more. And some of them took umbrage to that. But basically what we were saying is we want to see Havertz impact the game in a positive way. Yeah. In the first half, he was okay, but he was a bit passive. In the second half, completely different. He impacted the game. He scored a goal. He showed some nice touches, and he was there. You know what I mean? He was one of our best players tonight. That's what we want to see. This stuff about, but he gives 100%. He's putting in effort. To me, that's a prerequisite. That's a bare minimum we expect. So
exactly. Well, you look at Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a perfect example.
Exactly.
He literally every game gives nearly an 8 or 9 out of 10 performance, in my opinion. Yeah. Very rarely gives anything else. Like, he literally has a 7 out of 10 before he even steps on the pitch. Nearly.
Exactly.
He's just.
Am I right in thinking there's no Arsenal player that I can say is not putting a shift in? They all are.
Yeah.
So what we want to see is somebody that's come to the club on, you know what I mean, a big money signing with a big reputation. He's a German international. He's 6'3". He's quick. He's strong, and the list goes on. We want to see him impact the game. So I don't think we're being unfair in asking for that. But to be fair to him, he did have a good game. Now I just want to quickly reference the points you made about Raya, and I'm with you 100%. I think if the manager is operating fairly, if he's applying meritocracy to this whole situation, Raya has to be dropped. But whether he will or not, I'm not so sure.
I don't think he will. I think Kian thinks
I don't think he will. I think
he should.
It has to if Arteta wants to live by his sword. And as Javi has said many times, like, he broke basically a promise that he said that he's here to challenge Ramsdale, and if he's going to rotate his goalkeepers, which was shit and utter nonsense. Like when you look at it now, and Ramsdale deserves a lot more credit. Like when you look at it last year, he got us so many key points in so many games, kept us in games that we could have easily have lost with another goalkeeper or past goalkeepers that we've had. And I just think he's not really been treated well. My worry is now when it comes to January, I know on the Amazon Prime stream they were talking today, Ali McCoist was saying that they can't be selling him or loaning him in January. Like if Raya gets injured, Arsenal can be in trouble. And realistically, in my opinion, Ramsdale has a fair old shout to be going into Arteta's dressing room tomorrow and going, here, why can't I get my game after watching that last night?
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, I can understand why Raya is his number one. I actually can, because I've looked into this, and I've noted, for example, that Arsenal have been eyeing up Raya for a couple of years now, right? So he had him in mind from long before we saw it coming. Secondly, Raya's stats last season were amongst the best, if not the best in the Premier League. So I get it. But where I'm having a slight problem now is that when you brought Raya in, this is the manager, he went on record as saying, listen, we got two top keepers, I'm going to be fair to both. He even made that comment. Remember that comment he made about if I have to make a sub,
bringing on a goalkeeper with time to go, you know.
Yeah, so if you're going to be true to your word, Mikel, you have got to look at the situation now and say, look, I've got if not a world-class goalkeeper, but a top-class goalkeeper that's not in the team, that's not done anything remarkably wrong. And whilst you got Raya there that is underperforming and nearly cost us tonight. Because I agree with Turkish. The overall performance wasn't bad. We were the better team. It was the mistakes that let Luton back into it. Although Luton, covered themselves in glory and did well. But let's be honest, man, if you take away Raya's mistakes, Arsenal win that game quite comfortably tonight. So I think he's got
the other thing I would say is the crowd kind of helped Luton tonight. I think if you look at how the performance went, if we played in the Emirates tonight, we probably would have battered Luton tonight. I think what helped Luton tonight was the noise of the crowd, being at home, playing a big side. It kind of helped push them that bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I used to live in Luton, and I know quite a few people that's still in the town, and I do keep an eye out for their results. And I've been watching a few of their games this season. One thing I've noted from the get-go is that they're passionate, especially at home, passionate, committed, they're well drilled, they're well coached, and they're going to give it everything to try and stay in this division. So I knew this would be a difficult game, or at least I thought that, we would have to earn the right to play. Yeah. And fair play to Luton. We went ahead 2 times and they clawed it back twice and then went ahead themselves. So, All
right, Kian, we're going to wrap it up. Before we wrap it up, confident against Villa?
Yeah, I think we can get a result. I feel confident. I think if we perform how we did tonight, just the sheer determination and creating chances, I think we can get a result.
All right, Kian, nice one, man. Always a pleasure talking to you,
bro. Take care. Thanks for the call.
Cheers, lads.
Nice one. Who we've got next? Ollie.
Hey guys.
How you feeling, Ollie? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. And you?
Yeah, I'm good. Where are you calling in from?
Perth in Western Australia.
Okay, nice. How you feeling, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I mean, it's 7:20 over here, so it was about 6:20 when Rice scored that goal, and my dad was just about to go off to work, and we're running around our living room going crazy. It's always a great feeling. I mean, obviously, it's always nice to get things wrapped up early, but getting late winners, I think as much as we can sit here and say we wanted to be more comfortable, the late winners always are great.
Yeah, it is great. I mean, who was a standout for you today? Because we've just discussed Havertz, who I do think deserves a conversation. But Jesus also, I think, came up in big moments again.
Yeah, I was going to say Jesus. I think we always criticise him for maybe not being able to finish, but he did it against Wolves and he did it again tonight, where he has that ability to just hold off defenders. For that Havertz goal, he's got a defender on him, grabbing him, and he still has a composure to be able to play that ball in for the Havertz goal.
Yeah.
And I think we all want an Osimhen type player. I want Osimhen. I think he's a fantastic striker, but I think we do need to appreciate what Jesus does give to the team and his ability to hold up that ball. And he also scored a goal. Again, he's scored a few goals in the last few games, and he does contribute with goals as well. Obviously, we want more. But yeah. I think my main point that I was going to get to around this game is that this is not a normal game for us. We haven't conceded 3 goals the whole season. For us, this isn't normal. And you look at the overall game, we scored 4 away from home. We haven't done that much recently. And they had 5 shots, scored 3 goals. And we can really put 2 of those goals definitely down to errors from Raya. And even the first corner, someone should be doing better tracking that. So I think this game, hopefully, this is an outlier because our away form has been fantastic. I think we've conceded something like 3 goals away from home so far in the Premier League. So, so I think Jesus was fantastic. And I think we just have to hope that this game away from home isn't like what we're going to see at Villa.
You're not wrong. It's an outlier in terms of the goals we conceded, and the stats back that up. I won't ask you why, because you've alluded to why 2 of the goals being the goalkeeper's fault. But how do you avoid this outlier being, eliminated rather than becoming a problem for us moving forward? Because I asked that. Obviously, the goalkeeper debate is going to rear its head again. And I see a lot of people in the chat as well, before Ollie goes, saying, no, not this debate again. You lot are rinsing it. Listen, I'm the first to say I was tired of this debate. And I'm still tired of the debate.
Tired of what debate?
Ramsdale and Raya. But today brings it back, and it rightfully brings it back. And this is coming from someone who's tired of this debate. It rightfully brings it back because the goalkeeper that's come in has made 2 mistakes. And it's not like we've got Matt Turner or Carl Hyde on the bench. We've got Ramsdale, who over the last couple of years has made mistakes himself. But he's also done a hell of a lot of good. So the conversation is a given. It's not being forced. It's
Absolutely.
Not something that shouldn't be discussed now. I think it is. And again, I'm someone that's tired of it. So Ollie, what would you do with the goalkeeper situation against Aston Villa?
Look, I think I talked to Laurie about this probably, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago now. It was a while ago, and it was a debate on here about Ramsdale versus Raya. And at the time, I wanted Ramsdale in goal. And I love what Ramsdale gives us, especially away days. I think he can handle that pressure a bit more. I think we do need to also admit that Ramsdale has made mistakes that have led to goals as well.
100%.
And at Brentford, he was very lucky not to give away at least a goal. Mm-hmm. I think it's very tough for Arteta because I think we all know that he wants to keep Raya in there, but we also, as a fan base, want this to be an even fight. We want this to be, fair enough, put Raya in. He's had some good games and he hasn't made really that many mistakes leading to goals before today.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the fact that if you are going to put Raya in and you're going to drop Ramsdale, who's got us through almost to a title and into the Champions League and has helped us to get back to where we are, then he at least deserves another shot and at least a couple of games. I maybe wouldn't put him in now just because I think we've got Villa, Brighton and Liverpool, and we saw him come back in against Brentford, and I'd rather him come back into a game at home, maybe against a team that we're not going to be under as much pressure against, which I'm not sure when that's going to be. But overall, I think at the end of the day, we do need this to be a fair fight, but it's up to Arteta, I guess, and we know that he's quite stubborn in his decision-making.
And are you confident against Villa?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this is an outlier. We've been good for the most part away from home, and I'm sure Arteta won't be happy with the fact that we conceded 3, and I'm sure the players won't be happy as much as they're celebrating at the end of the game, and they should. I'm pretty sure Gabriel and Saliba specifically will not be particularly happy with that. I do think Tomiyasu is going to be a bit of a mess if he is out for a while, because I think tonight was a Tomiyasu game where we just need someone that could be solid and just mark a player, because I think Ben White wasn't brilliant tonight.
Yeah, I agree with
No,
you.
that's true. Ben White wasn't brilliant tonight. And if you look at that scoreline, you think, Arsenal must have defended really poorly to concede 3 goals against Luton. But as we've already said, the 2 of the goals were definitely the goalkeeper's fault. So
And only 5 shots as well for those 3 goals, which, it's not a lot of chances for them to just get 3 goals.
Doesn't happen often. Yeah, 5 shots result in 3 goals. But listen, 3 points at the end of the day. Ollie, been a pleasure talking to you, my bro. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'm sure you and your dad will anyway.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
man.
Cheers,
Thank you
Turkish.
very
Cheers, Laurie.
Take care, mate. You got Diego coming on next. Yes, Diego, what are you saying?
Hey, Turkish, Laurie.
Hey, how you doing, man?
You guys. I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today.
No problem.
It's my first time on the show, so it's a pleasure.
Hopefully not the last.
Hopefully not the last. Each time you come to the US, I try to meet up with you guys, but somehow I run out of luck. So, but I'm glad I'm here.
Next time. Where are you from in the US?
Maryland.
Okay, yeah. Maybe next summer if the preseason tour's out in the US.
That's near
again.
Washington, right? So
Yeah, close to the Washington area. And Turkish, your hat collections, I might need the plug sometime.
Come on, no worries, my guy. I'll send you the plug. Go on, Diego, talk to me. My first time on the channel, off the back of a 4-3 win away against Luton, last minute winner. There's been a few of those over the last 18 months. We're top of the league, 5 clear of Liverpool, 6 of City. They play over the next couple of days. What's your first topic of conversation?
I have a lot of points I raised, but I'm going to go through them fairly quickly just because of time. Today, when I watched the lineup, when I saw Kiwior, I wasn't sure, what Arteta was thinking. Was he trying to play more defensive game, or was he trying to, punish Zinchenko for the errors leading to a goal against Wolves in the last game? So I wasn't certain what he was trying to do, but you could tell that Kiwior was struggling a bit, in the game, in terms of what Zinchenko gives us going forward. And you can notice that Havertz struggles a lot, when he's not having the required support from Havertz, right? So what happens is we have Zinchenko slotting as an 8 and giving us the 3 attackers, like the 3 center forwards between Havertz, Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus, but when that is not being offered, you have Havertz trying to draw back to help, go for the ball, mark the games and stuff like that. So I think that was one of the things I realized that wasn't clicking today in today's game, that he offers that fluidity like we had experienced against the Lens game. So moving forward, it was quite shocking the mistakes that Raya had made. But obviously I tend to believe that Arteta will stick to his plan on, holding on his signing. Obviously there could be somewhere in the contract that would say, if you have X number of games, then we'll activate your the clause that will require us to have you as a full-time goalkeeper. So I don't think Raya is going anywhere anytime soon. And obviously, if you have to bring in Ramsdale, it wouldn't be anytime soon because that will shut out the confidence of Raya. And then overall, I'm thinking also if we have a shot at going for the league like we had tried last year, we might have to add an attacker, like someone who is well versatile, someone with a variety of experience, someone who is aerially capable to win us duels in the box, just like Havertz, but someone who's more of a clinical finisher. So that's would give us that spark with Julian Timber, coming back in late January to also give us that squad depth that will help us push forward to the title.
I don't know about Timber late January. That would be hopeful thinking, but yeah, Laurie.
No, I mean, listen, there's some points well made there. I do think you're right about the goalkeeping situation. Most people, if they're being honest, will say that a change should be made. But like you, caller, I don't think that change will be made. I think the manager will go with Raya.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain of it. I mean, you mentioned knocking Raya's confidence, but I see it as listen. You if he gets this confidence thing, I think it's overstated sometimes, because sometimes as an adult you need to take a step back and understand I've been dropped for the right reasons, and what do I need to do to get back in, not get dropped and then curl up into a ball and feel sorry for yourself and all of this. Nah, if you get dropped it's you can see why you've been dropped. Fight back. That's all I want from it, because I just feel like Ramsdale's value is at the lowest it's been since he signed for us, both on and off the pitch. Everyone knows he's unhappy. He doesn't get chances. When he gets a chance, he's terrible. So I feel like, you know, with that situation as well, we might as well test the waters a bit. But people will argue that Ramsdale comes in, we lose the next game, and then, you know, there'll be a whole heap of madness about that decision as well. I mean, are you still confident against Aston Villa after tonight?
Man, to be 100% honest, that's us going away. I think Aston Villa is, watching the few games I had watched recently, I see Unai Emery doing a fantastic job with them. I see their foot on the table. I see them pushing and winning almost all their games. Most recently, I think was the last game that I can't remember the last game they had played. But to answer the question, I think we have a shot. Hopefully, we just learn from today's lethargic performance today. It was as if after the first goal by Gabriel Martinelli, we thought, you know what, we had this on lock, we're going to win anyway. We just take our time and just cruise around the ball. But I think we need to take every team seriously going forward if we have a chance. But then before I leave, I just have a question. I've been thinking about having Jurgen Timber in January or February as an 8. I think he would make a fantastic 8 given his defensive and attacking prowess. What do you think?
Not good enough in the attacking third, technically, for me. He's technically a good player for what he does, but in the attacking third, when you talk about technical, you need them to be able to create a yard of space, drop a shoulder, and take a shot. And I don't think Timber's, got that. Same way I don't think Zinni's got that. I always thought the upgrade on Xhaka would have been a more attacking, creative number 8. I thought that was the idea behind Havertz, but more often than not this season, he's had more praise because of off-the-ball stuff. Today, in my opinion, was Havertz's best performance because, especially that second half, we were seeing him with the ball, between the lines. He was, running, taking on players, beating players. So for me, Timber, as much as he is good defensively and on the ball, he has the composure. That's not the attributes needed for me. Maybe he would make a good CM in a double pivot, but I think this whole inverting stuff has confused everyone, including myself. Like, everyone thinks everyone can play in a certain position when the reality is, just because Zinni looks, I'll use Trent. Just because Trent looks great as a fullback doesn't mean he's going to look great as a midfielder. Which is a bit of a skewed argument because obviously Trent attacking wise is a lot better than he is defensively, but Trent is a great fullback. Zinchenko's a very good fullback. You move them into midfield, it doesn't make them a great midfielder or a very good midfielder. It could change up the dynamic. So yeah.
Okay.
All right, Diego.
Thanks for the call, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you,
Take care.
Turkish.
All right.
Love Diego.
All right, bye.
Take care, my
Bye.
brother. So, who we got next up? Geronimo?
Hey guys, how's it
Yes. All good, man. How are you?
going? I'm good. Almost had a heart attack, but I'm
You
good.
survived, yeah?
Yeah, I survived.
Yeah, what are you saying, man? Where you go and talk to us? What's the main topic of conversation for you off the back of tonight's performance?
Turkish knows I've been hitting Havertz hard, but now he's starting to cook. He's a confidence player. Everybody told us he was a confidence player, and he's starting to get that confidence. You can see it on the pitch. I mean, he literally goes and he's running more. There's like more oomph in his passes now. It's not like those sloppy passes. And speaking of confidence, let's hope Raya is a confidence player because, I mean, he's not a kid anymore. He's 28 years old. I mean, if that's his prime, he's not good enough. I'm sorry.
What would you do? What would you do about it next then?
I would sell both of them and bring on Mainan and buy Mainan.
No one ever entertains that, to be honest, the idea of another keeper coming in, because it does look like Arteta's decision was made. Raya is his keeper, but at the same time, if that's your decision, then we're looking at Raya like, is he good enough to be our number one?
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah, that whole goalkeeping situation is crazy right now.
Yeah, I mean, give Ramsdale a shot, but Ramsdale's been shaky every time he's been given the opportunity. So I don't know I'd sell both and bring on my man.
Who would you start against Villa on Saturday?
I'd start Raya just because I don't think Ramsdale can handle the pressure. The pressure of okay, now I'm going to start. Now I can't commit any mistake, and I have to play with the ball at my feet, which is not my strong point.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. Sometimes Ramsdale's that type of player that does better when he's under a bit more pressure. Do you get what I mean? You know that whole clip about his concentration. I mean, when you're under pressure, your concentration levels are at the highest it can be. Or should be. Should be. Similar Havertz's opinion with me. I mean, I think that was his best game, Geronimo. More of that and this whole confidence stuff. Maybe it was true, but it doesn't bode well with me, because that means that if his confidence gets knocked later on down the line, and I'm not just talking about him, I'm talking about every player that's linked confidence and it's overlinked. I mean, there's confidence in front of goal for strikers, and putting one in the back of the net can breed more goals. But I mean, when it's confidence like this, I feel like, well, what happens if something negative happens in 2 months? Are you going to be shit for 3 months then because your confidence is low? I need a bit more accountability than that. Jesus, another top performance.
Our best player.
Man of the match.
Our best football player? No, in the club.
Okay.
Yeah, technically.
Naturally talented player, he's the best.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I would agree with that. In terms of today, I was very close to place him as my man of the match. I mean, overall, I probably would have him as man of the match. However, in a tight game like tonight, where one goal decided it, and that goal was scored in the 96th minute, I've gone for Declan Rice as my man of the match. But if you said Jesus, I would have absolutely no problem with that either, because I thought it was superb tonight.
Speaking about Declan Rice, I mean, he's worth every penny. He's worth every penny, and I think we scammed West Ham. I mean, everybody said like, oh, £100 million player. It has to be someone who's going to win you games. It's going to be someone who's going to be there and is going to be in the when you most need him, and that's what he does.
He's been.
I mean, he did it with Man United. He did it with Chelsea, and now he did it with Luton.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Yeah. Listen, bro, we've got a few callers waiting to come on, so we've got to cut you short. But listen, thank you very much for your call, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you, guys.
Nice one, Geronimo.
Yeah.
Peace.
Take care.
Who we got next? All right, whilst they're lining that up, let me see what the chat's saying. Turkish, the players are not robots. I know they're not robots, but they're also not pillows,
Where'd you get that one from? Pillows?
I'm just trying to figure the softest thing I know. I'm trying to figure the softest thing I know, because they're not robots, they're not pillows.
No, I like
either.
that. I like that analogy. Pillows, nice and soft.
Sharia, I believe. Have I said that right?
Hello.
Sharia, is that right?
Hello.
Sharia, is that correct?
I can't hear you guys. Hello.
Can you hear me now? Are we all good? Sharia, are you there? Sharia. Hello. Hello.
Can we bring him in a bit later? Take another call in the
Let's try to sort that out behind the scenes, if possible. Whilst production sorts out the next guest, 3.7k here. Hit the like button.
Smash that Lizzie button, man.
Couple people like the pillow analogy in the
I like that as well, especially as you just freestyled that, innit? That was on the fly.
Man. Yeah, man. Steve, we got Steve ready. Is it the Steve? It is the Steve. What are you saying, Steve?
It is. How you guys doing?
I'm good, man.
Oh, good, man. I need you to trim your beard down a bit, because I keep on getting comments that you got your beard's longer than mine. So we've got a standoff, Steve. We've got a standoff.
I'm ready. Come to LA. I'll take you to my spot and get you some nice beard oil too.
Hey, LA. Don't say.
I know you love LA.
I can't wait to be back in LA.
This is where it's at.
I can't wait.
This is where it's at, and it's great. It was great that you guys were in LA. Actually, I missed you guys. I went to the game and everything. I've got season tickets to the Rams, so going to that stadium is just it's one of a kind for sure.
Yeah, we was at the Luton Stadium yesterday recording bits of content, and I think it was James that said it. Imagine a few months ago we was at SoFi, and now we're at Luton Stadium and the difference between it. And listen, all day, every day, I prefer Luton Stadium. I prefer stadiums like that because there's a bit of community in it. There's a bit of culture. When you walk around it,
small, it's compact.
You think about everything that's happened over the last 50 years, 100 years.
100%.
With commercial ones, it's, you know that this has been built on an industrial site or a landfill. Like, it's got adverts everywhere. But there is a big difference. Steve, talk to me about tonight. I mean, what's the main topic for you? Is it the last minute winner? Is it the Raya mistakes? Is it Declan Rice again? Jesus again? Top performers?
So, honestly, I've got two things really. And one, I'm going to say, I think overall, I thought we played fine, right? And credit to Luton, they played well as well. But the two main topics really is this, one, the Raya thing, and two, Jesus, I'll touch in at the end. But the Raya thing, look, I seem to be in the minority, especially hearing all the fans here. I think we, as a fan base, the Arsenal fan base in general, I think we tend to overreact just way too much, right? It's not every day. We aren't perfect. You just read the comment, Turkish, they're not robots. You said, yeah, they're not pillows either. and I agree, right? But at the end of the day, we are human and we make mistakes, right? Raya today, no excuses. He was poor. It was terrible. 2 mistakes led to 2 huge goals. Inexcusable.
Yeah.
But he had a bad game. He had a bad game. My issue with the keeper situation is this. And Laurie, I know you advocate for Ramsdale to come in, but this is kind of where I'm battling with, and maybe you guys can chime in as well. But for me personally, the keeper situation, that position to me, regardless what Arteta said he was going to do, whether he lied to us or not, I have no feelings for that. I can give a crap if he lied or not. But to me, that keeper situation is not like a fullback situation or a striker situation where it's like, we just keep swapping keepers back and forth. Oh, you had a bad game, swap them out. 2 good games, 1 bad game, swap them out. To me, the keeper situation needs to be stable. And we just happen to be a club that have 2 decent to good goalkeepers. And at the end of the day, Arteta said, this is the guy. He wanted him before Ramsdale. We didn't get him. And then at the first opportunity to get Raya, he went and he got him. So he had already proven to us at that point that Raya at some point was going to be the guy. I think as fans, we never really believed it, mainly because Ramsdale had played so well for us. We went so deep last year. And let's face it, he had some amazing moments, but Ramsdale also had a lot of poor moments, right? So what happens now? We swap in Ramsdale. What if he just has a complete howler in the first half? We're down 2-0. What are the fans going to be screaming then? No, why did we do that? Why is Arteta switching the goalkeepers? Is mixing, fluidity? Where's the fluidity in the back? And I just think we just need to take a step back. Raya, go ahead.
That's the problem that Arteta's created, though, because Steve.
Agreed.
If Raya starts against Villa and he makes the mistakes in the first half, the conversation's still going to be, well, why the fuck did you bring him in and then ruin this whole So he's brought this onto himself.
Yeah.
It's a crazy one.
No, I agree. You're 100% correct. I guess the angle that I'm taking it as is we move to the next game, and because at the end of the day, Raya got saved in a sense by Declan Rice, right? We didn't lose the game.
Yeah. So
he got saved. So we move to the next game. Now Raya gives me another performance like he did today. In my eyes, you drop him. But he had one really poor game. It happens. I get it. I wasn't happy about it when I saw it happen. I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. But that's my thoughts on the keeper situation. And what I wanted to touch on with Gabriel Jesus is I'm same thing as Laurie said. My man of the match at the end of the day is Declan Rice. He had the winner. But prior to that, for me, it was Jesus. And I'm going to keep beating the drum until the end of days that we can win this league. I am a firm believer we can win this league with Gabriel Jesus. And even the last caller right now, what was his comment? That Gabriel Jesus is hands down the best player on the team. So my question to someone like him, if he's a person that wants a striker, is, if Gabriel Jesus is our best player, why are we so quick to go and grab another striker that's potentially going to be that you want him starting over Jesus? Like the first goal we scored, how many strikers are just going to run to the sideline, grab the ball, and do a throw in because he sees what's happening, right? Let's get the ball back in quick to Saka. Boom, boom, boom. We score, right? That is not going to show up on the score sheet, but it's the mentality that Gabriel Jesus brings to the team and just this vision that he has on the field that I think is like not a lot of people have that. And just last night I was going through this list and I couldn't wait to come on here because my question that I wanted to ask to you and to people if they want to comment is, anyone that really wants another striker to, the Ivan Tonys of the world. And let me say, I get it. Osimhen and Mbappe, those are different class. That's a different class. But let's just think about how many strikers in the Premier League are better than Jesus. Like, can someone name 3-4 strikers that are better than Jesus? Like, we literally have a top striker in the Premier League. And the only downfall in my eyes is just, can he stay healthy? And for that reason, Eddie Nketiah, yeah, we've given him a chance. But the fact is, I would like to bring in a striker to be in the bench role to say, okay, let's bring in someone else. Jesus doesn't have it today. But to me, Jesus is the guy up front, in and out. He needs to be the starter. And I just don't understand why we're so quick to say we just need another striker. I think we need another midfielder. We need an 8. We need a starting 8, right? That's what I feel we need, and that's what I think that will benefit us in the long run.
Yeah, listen, you made some good points there. However, I would disagree slightly. I do think that we need somebody who's a 20-goal a season man. I mean, because you've got to remember, we're challenging on both fronts for 2 high-profile trophies that are very difficult to win, and I do think you need a clinical striker. That doesn't mean to say I'll dispense with Jesus, not by a long way. I'm a big fan of his. But I do think if we're going to win those trophies, we need somebody that's going to get 20 goal plus a season. And I think that we could do with an upgrade there. So I would actually prioritise the striking position over the number 8. But I do see where you're coming from. I'm a big fan of Jesus. But listen, bro.
Laurie,
sorry, go ahead.
Just one quick question to you is when you say 20 goals, are we talking about 20 goals in the Premier League or across all competitions, right? Because I think that there's a difference there.
Yeah, I was more thinking 20 goals Premier League. I mean, if you look at Jesus' record, even though he's an outstanding player, I think his highest return in the Premier League is 14. So that's slightly underperforming, especially given what a good player he is. So we do need to address that. But listen, man, you make some very good points. So I'm not going to, go back and forth with you over that. But
No, you guys are great. You guys are doing a great job, and I love the show, man.
Thank you very much, bro.
Steve, man.
You must call back again very soon.
Enjoy the rest of your day as well.
Absolutely.
Nice one, bro.
You guys too. Bye.
Nice one, my bro. Yeah. Nice one. I believe we've got Asher coming on, first time on FANZONE. Asher?
Evening, boys. How you doing?
All good, man.
Good, man.
You?
I'm good. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, man. I kind of just top of mind was obviously Raya, like a lot of people. I think when people say that he makes errors, along with Ramsdale, I feel like it's a bit of a false equivalence because Ramsdale's come in and his errors are kind of under the guise of his top 6 status being undermined, whereas Raya's errors are kind of like he's been promoted into the top 6. He's kind of got this new status. He should be flying. He should have the momentum and the confidence. He's got the managers back in. And yet he's making errors. So I feel like Ramsdale, he comes in, but he knows he's going to be out the next game after the cup. It's kind of not the same sort of paradigm. So people have really got to remember and focus when they're analysing the 2 keepers. It's not the same situation. If you put Ramsdale in for a string of games, I think he'd return to form. Off the top of my head, he only made a few errors, like, at home against Liverpool, where he sort of let Jota's shot into the corner, things like that. Overall, he's actually a good keeper and a modern keeper that can play with his feet. I think there's been some revisionism on that as well. So I think Ramsdale coming in is the best choice.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, listen, I would say that Raya has the edge, certainly with the ball at his feet. But then, if you look at some of the errors he's made, I mean, the Chelsea game, remember that? With the Mudryk cross-come shot, which he failed to get a hand on. We conceded badly there. The Newcastle game, really, that defeat was down to him, because there's been a lot of back and forth over the refereeing and the VAR and the push on Gabriel. But at the end of the day, if Raya comes out and gets a connection on that ball, we wouldn't be having that conversation. And then, of course, today, 2 poor errors, man. And Turkish hit the nail on the head when he said that the manager's created a situation there, a kind of rod for his own back, because when we acquired Raya, he was very vocal in saying that, listen, this is a fair fight for the shirt. He even went as far as to say, listen, if I deem it necessary, I will make a change during the game. Now, some people would argue that if that is the case, bro, then today was the time for that change, because the man's giving away 2 goals, which could have cost us the game. You saw at the end of that game the way Raya ran the length of the pitch to congratulate Declan Rice, because he's got him out of an almighty hole. But listen, man, I like Raya, don't get me wrong. I do think he's the better keeper with a ball at his feet. I can understand why the manager went for him. If you look at his stats last season, he was amongst the best, if not the best, in terms of shot stopping and all the rest of it. So I get it. But the manager also said he's going to be fair to both. And if you're being fair to both, it's about time Ramsdale come in for me. That's my take on it.
Yeah, but you know what? I mentioned I was bored of this conversation earlier, and I'm getting even more bored of it.
No, but people are going. This debate is going to rage.
I know, that's why in my head I'm thinking, oh, we're back to this again, and we're going. It's just. I don't think it was a necessary. It was a necessary move from Mikel, and it's not a move that's paid dividends yet. And I think that's been the problem. If Raya hit the ground running and didn't have any mistakes, then no one would really care too much about Ramsdale to the point where we're debating it week in, week out. The problem is that he hasn't, and he makes mistakes. Sorry.
Do you know what I think? I was in another community the other week, and people were talking about this same situation, and it is quite boring. But one thing that kind of sprung to mind was, is Raya ever, if you were to put your money on it, ever going to be nominated for Ballon d'Or like Ramsdale? I think if you actually you have to look in the future as well. It's just like, it's not very likely. So if you're looking at that as a litmus test, it's not great, is it?
No, I agree. And I was a bit surprised when we went for Raya, even though I can understand why the manager went for him, as I said before, because really and truly that signing should have been prioritised elsewhere, i.e. number 8 or a striker, which would have been my preferred option. Turkish, what's your...
What was we on? Sorry, production was messaging me, so I missed the conversation.
No, it's still with the goalkeeping thing about.
See, I'm tired, man. Forget them, man. I'm actually tired of talking about goalkeepers. It's just sickening, man. Because then you got people that's in love with Ramsdale. You got people that's, sickened by the people that are in love with Ramsdale, and they get extra harsh on Ramsdale. And then you got people saying,
Me personally, I've got no horse in the race, bro. I'm just speaking as a fan who loves the club, who loves the game, and like I said. The manager said, he was quite unequivocal, that he was going to be fair to both. Like I said, he even went as far as to say that if he deems it necessary, he would make a change at half-time or whenever.
I believe
so. If you're being fair, like you said you were, you said it, Mr. Altea, you said it, then you've got to abide by what you said.
I believe we've got Michael coming in now as well. Man, no, I think Ash is going to stay there.
Is it? Okay, right,
I think we're getting Michael in at the same time.
Oh, okay, right, a duel.
So right. Asha still live, Michael live.
Hey guys, I just have a quick point. Can you hear me? I got a couple quick points on Havertz and Gabriel, and then I got a quick poem about Declan Rice.
When
we signed Havertz, the Raya Ramsdale thing. I've always been Team Ramsdale. If there was ever a match when we were going to put Ramsdale in, it would be this one, where we knew that we're going to face a physical team that wanted to score off set pieces. And if Arteta's not going to start Ramsdale on a game like that, we should just give ourselves up to the idea that Ramsdale's going to get sold in January, and we're stuck with Raya. So that's all I have to say about that. On Havertz, we have always been told that this is an elegant player, but I think he's starting to score because he's embracing the exact opposite, that he's actually a very inelegant player who uses that kind of doofus energy to chase a ball down like a baby giraffe and toe poke it into the net, right? Which is the way that like Larry Bird used to be in the NBA. You couldn't cover him because you couldn't read his body language because he seemed like he was so uncoordinated that it actually means that Havertz is unpredictable in the box in a way that a more fluid player would not be. On Gabriel, he is getting mugged when we attack corners now. Like, there was a time in the second half where he got dragged down by his jersey, and VAR did nothing about that. And I want Arteta.
Michael's mic. We can't hear him.
No,
you can't hear me?
Oh, can you?
Yeah, I can hear Mike. I'm listening, man. Don't worry. It's only Laurie that can't hear you. It's fine, man. It's probably better.
It on, then. You take it on.
Okay. Laurie can predict what I'm saying. I
can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Arteta should be raging about what is being done to Gabriel when we attack corners, because he's always being dragged down into the area when he's actually our most dangerous aerial threat when we're attacking a corner. Now on Declan Rice, hope in reality is the worst of all evils because it prolongs the torments of man. And there are a lot of times when the fan base lifts up the team, but with Declan Rice, I think we have a situation like today where the team lifts up the fan base. That I'm trying to get comfortable with my agony after we go behind to Ross Barkley's goal, and I'm scrolling through the Shakespeare database looking for quotes that speak of frustration and anguish. But it's, first Havertz with that clunky little baby giraffe goal, and then Rice at the very end, that reminds me that sometimes the team lifts the fan base up. You make me strange to keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear. Top of the league, come on, you Gunners.
Like it.
So enough of Shakespeare. You disagree with Ashra's point earlier.
No, they brought me on. I didn't know what I was supposed to disagree with.
No, we thought you disagreed with one of his points. That's why I thought, you was coming in to challenge one of them. But instead, we got the poem and we got your thoughts on the game. But Ashra, anything you disagree with that Michael said? Anything you agree with? Any poem, Declan Rice poem?
I was enjoying the poem as well, man. I was kicking back. I'm in my PJ, so I'm all good over here, man.
Say no more. All right, Mike, big up. Asher, big up.
Thanks to both of you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bye.
Make sure you call back.
Take care. I think that's the end of the callers, Laurie.
It's the end of the callers.
And it's coming up to the end of the show.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, what a night, man. I mean, listen, to me, that game tonight, I know I'm a bit biased, obviously as an Arsenal fan, but that was one of the games of the season. Not in terms of quality, I've got to admit, but in terms of sheer energy and events and stuff like that. It was the ebb and flow is very good, and I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it even more now that we got the win.
I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't one of my favourite games this season.
No, I could see why you might not have enjoyed it, but I did enjoy it. I liked Luton's performance as well. Credit to them, man. They put up a real good fight. They're real underdogs. But they played beyond what we expected. So
yeah, they fought well
done to them. We got the win. We move on to the game against Villa, which is I'm looking forward to that game already. That's going to be a great game. As I was saying on my fan cam, Turkish, when it comes to the Villa game, it'll be a very different game than tonight's game was.
Should be.
Styles make fights, as they say in boxing, and it's also applicable to football. And in short, I think we can go there and get a result.
Yeah, well,
100%.
Well, we'll be here. We'll be here doing Match Day Live as usual. We'll be previewing it. We're going to Villa Park on Thursday, so make sure you're subscribed, put the notification bell on. All the preview content will be coming out from tomorrow onwards. Forever Arsenal out nice and early tomorrow as well. So for any fans and supporters of the show out there, it'll be out by about 10, 11 a.m. latest. So enjoy. We're recording at 8 a.m. in the morning. Laurie, love.
Thank you,
always.
Man. Thank you very much, bro. And thank you to all the people out there supporting the show. We really appreciate it, man.
There you go. Love for the love, people. Like Laurie said, appreciate it. Hit the like button and make sure you're here subscribed and looking out for the next pieces of content. Love for the love. We're at. Peace.